So I want to share today on the topic of becoming a citizen of Chongoguk. A father has a particular speech called Settlement in One Heart, One Body and One Mindset. I don't usually wake up in the morning with a big desire to open the Chon Song Yong. But actually this morning, it's right beside my bed, so I opened the book and I flipped through it exactly. I thought I want to study about the Chongoguk, and exactly this section opened about how to live in Chongoguk. When we think about Chongoguk, the kingdom of heaven, a nation, it sounds like we need a passport, we need documentation, we think about these external things. But really, the idea of Chongoguk isn't a nation. They asked Jesus, they said, he said, I'm going to build a nation. And the disciples were thinking that Jesus was going to build a nation to fight the Romans. Yeah, we're going to build an army to fight the Romans. So that's how the disciples understood when Jesus talked about a nation. When Jesus was talking about building the kingdom of heaven, the disciples couldn't understand what that meant, actually. They were really confused because they thought that Jesus was coming to build an army, yeah? But we understand, of course, from our two parents that Chongoguk is not about passports or about borders or about control. It's a very internal lifestyle. It's the way of living. And most importantly, it's about aligning, right? Alignment with God's vision. So, one thing I really struggled about when I joined the movement was having to change myself. This was most difficult for me. The idea that I need to become a little Reverend Moon, I need to align myself with this guy. For me, being a classic arrogant white male, that was very hard to accept, actually, for me. That I should become one in heart, one in body, one in mindset. So this means that I need to totally change myself. I need to become a different person. And the longer I stayed, the more it felt I was killing myself. I was destroying this old self and building this new identity. And then I got married, and that also became similar. I was thinking I need also to change myself. I need to fix all of my problems. So it's a difficult path. But this speech from Father explains a very interesting idea that we don't need, actually, to sacrifice our identity or change so much in terms of our character or of ourself. It jumped toward the end. It explains that what we really need to do is align. That if we are centered on God, if we are one in heart, one in body, and one in mindset, then the natural side effect of that is that we don't need to change, we just naturally become. It's a sense of becoming it, yeah? So, what is one in heart then, Father says? This means loving others as our own family. Caring about others as our own family. That's a really hard thing to do, to actually treat everybody really as brothers and sisters. Yeah, it was AJ's birthday the other day, and I missed it. And I was thinking about my attitude about that. Like, am I treating him, am I thinking, at the airport I was trying to find a present for him, and nothing fixed, nothing kind of fitted. And then when the children said, let's just buy something. It's his birthday, we're going to buy something. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but we shouldn't buy just something. We're going to buy a good thing. It's going to be a right thing. So there we were struggling and struggling. But I know that actually he wants to cut his hair. He wants to do something with his hair. So in the end, I got him a buzzer to cut his hair. But anyway.
Thank you.
But actually, I was thinking, how, are we really treating each other as brothers and sisters? Do we think about each other that way? It's really challenging to really, how I would treat my son, my physical children, my daughters, and how I would treat you brothers and sisters. Are we really a family? I guess that's what Father is asking. It would mean if we're really one in heart, we would feel someone else's pain as my own. That's a really high standard, right? This nation we're talking about, Chongoguk, is actually where we're talking about Chongoguk and trying to build Chongoguk. It's not really just a nation with a passport. You're a Chongoguk citizen. You're a citizen of Chongoguk, which you get a stamp in your passport. Citizen of Chongoguk. But Chongoguk we're discussing just now is something very internal. It's about internal heart and attitude, and Father explains this in this speech. So feeling someone else's pain as my own, or somebody else's joy as my own, right? Feeling somebody's success, and that's my success. As parents, we see our children successful in their exams, and we feel such joy for them, right? So the Chongoguk is this, it's a heart, not a nation. Yeah, and this is what the disciples couldn't understand when Jesus was explaining to them. So also, Father goes on to say, it's wanting the best for others, not just yourself. So, I was discussing yesterday with AJ exactly about this. People came here to play to the centre, and AJ is very good at table football, right? So he can beat anybody because he's pretty good. But he was letting them beat him, and even though he wanted to win himself, but letting other person to win, to feel joy, it's like as a father, my children scoring a goal, and they're like, oh, you scored, son, wow, what a shot, Dad could have saved it, but the joy of the son who Zia understands, right? So, letting the child score the goal, and the joy of the child. That's incredible, right? The joy of actually others, right? We're not just looking for joy or success myself, but allowing others success. So this is the heart of Chongoguk. But let's be honest, sometimes we don't feel like loving others, right? It's hard enough with our own kids. Wake up and the children are like, ah! That's hard enough, even when it's your own children sometimes. You'd think it'd be natural, right? It's your own children, you're going to naturally love them and sacrifice for them. But sometimes I lose patience. Oh yeah. Sometimes. Sorry guys, I lose patience sometimes. Especially when people disrespect us maybe, or they ignore us. Daniel has a thing right now, he's often saying to me, Dad, are you listening? Are you really listening? It really bugs me, but it also is very on the point, because I'm listening with only half of my head, I'm not really listening. And then when he's like, yeah, Dad, you're not listening to me. It's very challenging, even with our own children, to live on that standard of heart, that we really do that. Even somebody says to us something that's painful, that hurts us. We know we're supposed to be in the Chongoguk, right? We're supposed to be building this, but in reality, again and again, we realise that we're not building Chongoguk. We're going back to our life before. So let's say a parent asks you as a child to help. So we know that we should help, but our body says, I'll do it later. Yeah, we have this struggle, right? So we have one heart and then one body. One body is actually having a body that's willing to unite, right? I want to wake up and I want to help. I remember on the farm, my dad said, oh, I've got lots of work to do, son. 6 o'clock, wake up, you've got to be there, son. So, and I woke up about 7 o'clock and I was like, oh my God, I looked out the window and my dad was doing all the work already. And then he came in for breakfast and he was angry and upset, and I knew that he was just, I wasn't one in heart, right? My body wasn't willing to unite with my dad, right? And the result, of course, was division. Me and my dad frustrated, my dad was angry. I could feel it. He didn't say anything, but oh my gosh, you could feel it when he walked in for breakfast. You could see he was upset. My body wouldn't unite, even though my conscience, I wanted to wake up, but I turned over and slept again. So we not only need the heart, so Chongoguk isn't just about the heart. We might have good thoughts. Often our conscience is driving us to very good thoughts, right? Very good ideas of what true love is and how we can live this beautiful Chongoguk lifestyle. But if we don't have the mind and body unity, what this speech father's explaining, if you don't have the mind and body unity to get the body to do it, all it is just good thoughts, right? Good thoughts, but not good action. So that's where one heart and then one body. I need to be able to get this body in line with my conscience, to act. And then Father says one mindset. And this was a little bit hard for me to get my head around this morning. I was reading the Chon Song Yong. And one mindset, what does that really mean, yeah? Yeah. Father actually says this is thinking aligned with the truth. So that we see through God's viewpoint. We try to see through the principle viewpoint. We try to look through the right glasses, to put on the right glasses so we see from the right viewpoint. I think this is incredibly hard to do. This is probably the third and the most hard thing to do, is to constantly try and see from the higher perspective. How does God feel about this? How does true parents feel about this situation? That's really hard at the high level. So I justify selfishness, even doing the dishes. Just this morning, because we have a rota in our family, so the children, they load the dishwasher every day. But my job every day is I unload the dishwasher, so Mummy doesn't need to do the dishes. But I know that Mummy's such a lovely person. She'll always do the dishes if I don't. And this morning I was thinking, I'm preparing for Sunday service, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, is that Chongoguk thinking? Is that Chongoguk thinking? It's kind of like justifying selfishness. It's like, I'm giving Sunday service, my notes aren't ready yet, I need to prepare more. But there's my job there. And I looked at it and I was thinking, that is my job. And then this little voice in the back of my head is like, Galina will do it. I know she'll do it. She'll do it. She always covers me. She always covers my back if I don't do it. She'll do it. So it's actually in these little things, isn't it? Like, are we thinking about somebody else? Because Galina does the lion's share. She's cooking the meal, right? That's not 10 minutes unloading the dishwasher. That's an hour of preparation. Yeah. So Auntie Galina, she's doing what we call lion's share, which is the big main work of cooking. So if we're living in Chongoguk, what do we do? I had this thought this morning because I was preparing this. Do the dishes, put those dishes back. That's clearly my responsibility, yeah? So, but it's hard to always think about it, and it's easy to justify, isn't it, to think somebody else will do it or whatever. Instead, we need to think, what would true love do here? What is the right way, not the easy way? I think that there is really the point, the easy way. I don't know about you guys are very holy, amazing people, but I tend to take the easy way. I'm like, oh, I know that somebody will do this, somebody will take care of this. If I don't do this, somebody else will, right? So, and that's exactly where Chongoguk breaks down, is where I cannot align myself with the standard of true parents, right? What would true parents do? That's the challenge for me, is always, what would true parents do? That is for me my difficulty. I do think that, but then how to actually practice that and follow through. So like I was saying at the beginning, a lot of people think to live in Chongoguk, it means about improving myself or fixing my character or working harder. By working really hard, we can live in the Chongoguk, we can build this kingdom of heaven. But True Father is saying something much deeper than that. Father is saying that it's much more about our alignment. It's more about how much we are connected to God, how much we are thinking about true parents or God's dream. That's more fundamental than just working hard. Because you could really work hard and build something very ugly. you could work very, very, very hard, but if we're not aligned with God and true parents, then what we create might not be Chongoguk, right? So I was very inspired myself about this point this morning, because it means that actually I don't need to, like Chris, Uncle Chris has often said, that God is inside of us already. We are a holy, we have the potential to be a holy person. My character isn't just fallen and broken, but I need more fundamentally to get aligned. Then our identity naturally starts to change. Our character naturally starts to become good. If we're seeing through God's viewpoint and our body is united and willing to do, willing to sacrifice, willing to act, and then our actions also naturally start to become loving. So, and then Father says, you don't force goodness. Goodness cannot be forced. Yeah? But by trying to resemble true parents and God, and trying to live in that mindset, constantly thinking what God and true parents would do, then as a byproduct, I start to become a holy person. It's not just by working hard. And I thought this is actually, it was profound for me anyway. At the time this morning, I woke up thinking, wow, my gosh, I don't usually wake up like this. Usually mornings are not so inspiring. It's trying to drag my lazy body out of bed. With my wife saying, we need to go down, we need to prepare, we need to... And but I woke up this morning with this desire to read the Chonsong Yong. Wow. So if you think about someone who truly loves their family, truly love their children, they don't have to force themselves to love their children, right? And children don't have to force themselves to love their parents. This is just something that's naturally coming because their heart of love. Yeah. So I guess building Chongoguk, I was thinking this morning that it might feel that we're forcing ourselves to try to get into Chongoguk, to become that citizen. But Father's point is it's much more of a natural thing. It should become natural. If our heart is right, then it starts to become natural. It wouldn't be like an inner conflict to live for the sake of others. It wouldn't be a struggle. It would just be it would be natural. Living for the sake of others. Our mind would agree and our body would follow. There's no struggle in that, right? There's no fake kindness. The kindness comes naturally. So yeah, this is a kind of interesting idea. I don't know if I've managed to explain it well, but it's not, in conclusion, this isn't something that we're forcing, but something that's naturally developing in us. This word alignment. Do you know the word alignment in Korean? What's the word in Korean? Alignment. Do you know this word? To be. Yeah, it's like no shadow, kind of also, right? Total.
To become one with true
like she said. Like she said. Yeah, to become one with true parents. Yeah, that's right.
One with Christ.
One with Christ or with true parents, right? They are our example, right? In trying to think what they would do. Like I've said many times to you, in Christianity, I always think that it's amazing. They've got this, what would Jesus do, right? This, have you seen the necklace? WWJD, what would Jesus do? So Father is saying, it's not like we should just become a better person. It's just becoming a better person. Everybody wants to be a better person, I guess, in their heart, right? But Father's saying more fundamentally, it's about aligning ourselves. And I was thinking, what does that mean? That means that we need to pray more. I thought that's the conclusion from this, is that rather than just working hard in all kinds of directions without a focus, we need to pray hard, make effort to make sure that we are moving in the right direction. Because we could go in all kinds of directions, right? So to actually keep ourselves moving in one direction, we need to pray. We need like a compass to constantly bring us back to where we're trying to go, what we're trying to achieve. Yeah, if we don't have that compass, yeah, we're going all over the place. So let's not try to force change. I think many times in my life of faith, I've been trying to force myself to change. But it's about the internal, maybe more in the life of prayer and more in the heart, the world of heart. I was maybe looking also at Chongoguk as maybe more of a external thing, that I get these certain certificates or these certain stamps. You know, if you've managed to do this and this and this, you get your purple jacket, right? If you get your purple jacket, then you're living in the kingdom of heaven, right? I mean, it's good that we've got certain things that we can measure as qualifications to be living in Chongoguk. But maybe even more than that is how much we love each other. That is probably the real measure. How much we think about each other. You know, sometimes we of course talk about brothers and sisters, but yeah, it's a work in progress. For me as well, I cannot say that I'm always thinking about each one of your situations all the time. I'm not there yet. So, maybe something we can practice in this next week, whether it's at school or with our colleagues or in our families, really trying to check ourselves. Yeah, is this the Chongoguk attitude? Yeah, my attitude in each situation, because this is a massive thing to change It's a huge thing to change, and we tend to very easily make decisions like that, but then afterwards, at the end of the day, thinking, wow, that attitude I had to Daniel wasn't right. That attitude I had to Polina wasn't right. You know, they were actually building the volleyball nets. They've made these these huge stands for the volleyball. So they've been living for sake of others the last couple of days doing this. And I got frustrated a bit with them this morning because I was like, oh, we're going to be late. Oh, blah, 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 blah. But actually, if I was living in the world of heart, I would have just really been like smiling together with God, thinking how beautiful that they are thinking about the basketball for the guests and the missionaries. But I was wrapped up in I'm going to be late for Sunday service. Yeah. They know that I always get stressed. On a Sunday, Mum knows as well, keep distance from Dad. He's stressed on a Sunday morning. He's always worried about being late. So Mum knows, keep distance from Dad on a Sunday morning. Because he's getting stressed. So Galina knows that well. But yeah, it's this Chongol Guk. It's what Jesus was talking about. This nation, this kingdom of heaven, what he was talking about. The disciples didn't get it. And I was actually thinking this morning, do I get it, like Chongil Guk? And then thinking about my attitude with Daniel and Polina this morning. They're doing something really beautiful, really from their heart. But I'm not actually thinking about that. I'm still stuck in my own little stuff and how people will feel if I'm late for Sunday service. Right? That's very much actually that's very much self-centered, really. I'm rather thinking about what other people are going to look at me like. And I'm not really thinking of the beauty, the Chongol Guk that they're building right in front of me. So as a parent, I need to really reflect on what is actually beautiful for God. What God sees as beautiful in front here. Is it my ego or my pride about being on time? Or was it about something very beautiful that I almost missed because I was so much thinking about myself? Yeah, that was my realization this morning. And I could a little bit reflect and repent that I'm still not there. Anyway, I guess we're all working on it. We're all trying to get there. Chongol Guk is something that we are building, and it's something that the disciples struggled with too. They couldn't get it either. Yeah, let's try to think a bit more. Every day, I guess we need to think a bit more. What would true parents do? What does God feel about this situation? Not what does Dale feel about this situation? It's this indirect thinking, that seeing through God's eyes, not just through my own feelings. Often we're just thinking about how we feel. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I'm angry. Yeah. But beautiful things happening around, but I can't see them. So let's do that this next week. Let's try to put our mind into Chongol Guk, put our mind into Kingdom of Heaven, and then get our body, drag our lazy body into Kingdom of Heaven. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
So, yes, yesterday we had the Korean cultural experience event, and we expected like 7 guests because we had the confirmation of 7 guests, but only 3 came. So maybe next time we should have 14, so have 6. Yeah, 14 confirmations. Yeah, but it was good. In the beginning we explain about the Youth Family Federation, and then we share a bit about the Korean culture and Korean expression words, and then we could have game time. Yeah, actually some of them already heard about the introduction, DP introduction, but we didn't have this time to get along, like get to know each other with everybody. So yeah, because when we do the lecture, we do like 1 by 1 or 2 1. So yeah, it was a good time to know more about like, yes, more close, get more close to each other. And it was our first time doing this like event here in Bolton, but yeah, I think in the future we must do like change some things. It has many feedbacks, but yes, I think that we did our best, and also the second gens, yeah, Alex, Chris, Julia, Daniel, we came and they helped a lot. Talking to the guests and yes, asking, like it was really good atmosphere, and yes, I could felt like the Heavenly Parent was really happy to see us second gens and missionaries with the guests. So yes, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.